session on the Men and Mice version 6.6 release. My name is Mark Berkmo, and I'm one of the regional directors based here in the U.S. I'm joined today by Eyþór Thorstensson, who is one of our technical specialists based in Iceland. Men and Mice pays great attention to the requests for features from our customers, as well as to what's going on in the industry. And we make every effort to stay current and also to add any requested features from our customers that make sense on a timely basis. Today, Eyþór will be going over the highlights of the new features and capabilities contained in the 6.6 release for us. You can use the chat function to log any questions that you have along the way, and we will have time at the end of the presentation to answer them. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Eyþór, and Eyþór, you should have control, and look forward to your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So maybe you can let me know if you can see my screen.
We do.
Okay, so I just wanted to cover the highlights of version 6.6, which we released on the 15th of May. So the first thing I want to show you is the utilization overview in the list of subnets. So you just see it right here in the console. It's a graph percentage basically showing how much of the IP addresses within the subnets are being in use. So for instance here, just for demonstration, like almost half of this subnet has IP addresses claimed. So this takes into account the rules that are defined in the system settings for it determines the address in use. So that's customizable. So that's basically an extension of the address utilization history that we introduced earlier. You can sort the utilization, so you can for instance, look at the subnets which basically have 100% utilization. It's also filterable, so you, for instance, want to see subnets that have more than 70% utilization. You could do this. You basically see it will take out those that have basically 0 or less than 70. This same goes for the web. So if I log into the web interface, then basically see the utilization as well. If I can find any. Yep. So it shows you the utilization in a graph as well. So if I take a look at the at this filter here, then basically, yeah, very similar to the management console. It's a gradient color. So yeah, so the same goes for the web interface, that you can filter and sort this. So this is great for monitoring your subnets. So the next thing on the list of new features is the saved filters, which I showed you slightly before. It's an extension of a feature that was quite hidden in the earlier releases. Basically, if you, for instance, would type in some criteria here, like Reykjavik, you could go here to edit and save the filter. The filter would appear at the bottom of the list, not in line with the object that you're trying to filter out. And if you would click that icon, it's the same as just typing in the filter. So it's a shortcut basically. So today we in version 6.6 we changed that to appear underneath the relevant object. So for instance, for the subnets, I have here 2 filters. So for instance here, less than 100% utilized shows the subnets that have yeah, less than 100%, because many of those were actually fully utilized before. So we can also modify the filters as well. So that's the another improvement. You were not able to change the filter afterwards. You just had to throw that away. And but now you can basically change the filtering, so it might be less than well 90, for instance. So yeah, and yeah, so I guess that basically covers this feature. It's just an extension of an existing feature that was quite hidden before. So another improvement in version 6.6 is the SNMP profiles. Previously, we used to have just a single profile, SNMP v2, to collect IP address information from the routers, from ARPcast that is, so we can see which IP addresses have been routed. It only you were only able to specify a single community string. So in case your routers have had multiple public community strings for version 2, then you're only able to query a part of your infrastructure. But in version 6.6, we have basically a concept of profiles, and with that we have added support for SNMP v3, which is much more secure, and yeah, so you specify the if you want to create a new profile, for instance, second, and you can specify the community string, which is just a test. And instead of adding the routers on the subnets as you used to do, you basically add them here on the profile. So you specify which routers are using this profile. So that is for v2 SNMP v2 this community string. And yeah, so that should improve like diverse environments. Next on the list of items for 6.6 is support for DNS RPC, which sometimes called DNS Firewall. It's a feature of Bind, actually. I think Bind more recent than 9.8. So we're not really like doing DNS firewalling in minimize, so to speak, but just having support for that in minimize. So with that, if you on servers that have Band 9.8 or more recent, you have the response policy zone check mark here on the zone options for the blacklist zone. If you open the blacklist zone, it's just has regular content, but you can basically specify domains or even down to addresses to blacklist, and this is just a means to manage that through minimize. Didn't used to be possible, and we also have like this UI on top of that. So you are also able to slave zones from external providers instead of maintaining this list yourself. And, I guess that's going to be the main functionality, to use a slave for the RPC zones. Yeah, so next on the list is the restricted, basically for our appliance, minimize appliances. We did some improvements on the functionality there. Customers, well, were having, in case of DNS problems or network problems, we were seeing cases where it used to be very valuable to be able to log into the appliances to do some diagnosis from there. We are basically created a remote access to the appliances in version 6.6 where you can just specify the password. And it basically allows SSH access to the boxes for a specific user. if I would try this out, so that would be admin would be the username to log into the appliance, and so you basically have here a restricted shell. It's a read-only access, so you are not able to mess with the appliance. It's just for diagnostic purposes. So, for instance, just to see if you're able to take from the machine or whatever, basically. But since the access is read-only, you're not able to do any changes to the appliance fundamentally. So, so yeah, that's one of the features. And then to end this, the last feature on 6.6 that we also did is the ability to restore appliances from minimize appliances as well from a backup. So we basically are really take good care to back up the appliances, of course, and we've improved the capability to restore, like have a backup appliance, which is the main purpose here, that in case your primary appliance fails, you are able to restore the appliance. So to demonstrate this, I basically have here two appliances. As you see, this one here has this IP address .56 here, and so okay, that's the other one. So so this is the appliance that is actually running today. The other one here, the backup one, is just for backup. It's already running, but it's running at a temporary IP. So if I would say that this machine here is well, goes down, I will just demonstrate by suspending the machine and change the IP here to the one of the old box. So basically, in place replacement. Okay, so it says here that it has not been initialized, and well, and then I get when I right click on the appliance and minimize, I get the option to initialize, and basically have the option of restoring a backup of the old appliance which was just running, or using the appliance without a backup, which is probably never going to be the chosen option here. So this is the primary function of this, is to restore a backup to the backup appliance. And this will basically turn the backup appliance into the other one, and along with all the configuration, DNS zones and DHCP config there is. So we regarding the backup, we are taking that every 15 minutes. So in worst case, you would have a 15-minute old backup in case of some failure. So this would be, for instance, very useful for the virtual appliances, to have a virtual appliance backup, like I was demonstrating. All right, I guess that's all there is in 6.6, along with a bunch load of bug fixes, of course.
Okay, thank you, Athor. At this time, if there's any questions, if you can go ahead and type them into the chat window, we'd be happy to answer those at this time. Okay, it appears that there aren't any questions at this time. So we want to thank everyone for joining us today for this web session on the version 6.6 release. And thank you, Athor, for the fine job on updating us on what's new in 6.6. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and look forward to seeing you on another Men and Mice web session. Take care.